Alright guys, so this video is going to be more on the educational side of things where I created a PDF document called 7 Reasons Why Elite Forex Traders Crush the Competition. This could be applied to whether you trade crypto, gold, you trade commodities, you trade ETFs, you trade options, whatever it is that you trade, but this can apply to you and your journey as a trader, whether you're a brand new trader, been trading for a while in the market, you have a couple of years on your belt, but you still, you're still kind of struggling with certain things. And I have in the description of this video, I'm going to have a link that you can click on, and you can actually download the written version of this or the typed version of this. It's not going to be word for word, but I do have a PDF where you guys can read it and go by step by step if you want and read through it. It's not going to be exact word for word like I just said, but this is a guide that may help you. It may give you some different perspectives, or it may give you some some enlightened ideas to help your trading, right? So this video is going to be basically, I'm going to go quickly through the 7 reasons why I feel that elite traders crush the competition, and this is based on years of trading that I've been able to figure out. I've learned from other great traders back many years ago, and the ultimate realizations I've had as a trader, specifically a forex trader, but again, it still applies to whatever you're trading in general, right? So I'm going to move along here on the next slide. So let's see. This is me here. My name is Sal Medina. I'm the founder of Internal Trader. I started this this business to help traders who are struggling with specifically forex trading and swing trading, because that's what I specialize in. But I started trading back in 2008. I was a computer engineer working on service systems back when I used to work at Credit Suisse in Midtown Manhattan. I was also transferred. I worked on the trading floor of RBC Capital Markets, and that's where the whole trading journey for me started. And just like anything else, I went through the whole motions that the average trader goes through, right? Learning so many different things, trying to acquire all this different knowledge, thinking that's going to help me, but it still didn't, equate to making money or trying to get on that right, that right path, right? Or it just really put me in circles. And I was stuck in frustration for many years until, again, I started figuring things out little by little. And then eventually some things that I had to come to terms with to be able to look, see through, basically, for lack of a better term, see through all the bullshit and get through on the right track to start making profits and go on from there. So I started off trading stocks. And as you can imagine, since I just said I started trading in late, I would say Q4 of 2008, and then from there 2009 and onward, the financial crisis was going on. It was just a crazy time to start learning to trade. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but it was exciting to me, and that gave me that push to go home after work and learn how to trade and study this and study that. It was just nonstop. And many of you, I'm sure you can relate to that, where you're just spending hours upon hours and hours of, learning as much as you can, trying to figure out strategy. You're trying to watch videos. You're joining groups. You're doing everything and anything that you can to help you to basically make money, right? Because that's the whole point that we all get into trading. I mean, if aside from anything else, I mean, yeah, we want to be good, but we want to make as much money as possible. So that was me in the beginning journey. So let's fast forward. If you guys are familiar with DailyFX, this was back before when it was, I think it was together with FXCM. Now DailyFX, the actual forum, doesn't exist anymore. But in my opinion, it was the absolutely best place, or one of the best places that you can learn. It wasn't anything crazy. This is not a knock on any other forum like Forex Factory, which is it's filled with a ton of information and users, or any other platform, right? Or any other forum that people try to learn in. But DailyFX back then was just an incredible place to learn. I actually got to meet a few people from that forum, and they were just great traders. So unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. But the point I'm showing you this slide is that I got to a point in 2012, going into 2013, that I put together a strategy that was doing so well that they asked me to do a webinar, a worldwide webinar for them and all their members, and to show how I was making all these great trades. Now, it was one of the great educational aspects of that journey that I did when trading. And funny enough, during this time, I was working at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and I was working and trading at the same time in the same time. So you can kind of say it was kind of funny because I was trading in the belly of the beast, so to speak. So I'm inside the Federal Reserve and I'm trading, right? I was doing my work, but on the side I was, getting into trades in and out and just watching, just making money basically. So I got to a point where I was just completely forgetting about my paycheck because I was doing so well in the markets that I eventually left. I left the Federal Reserve. I think it was more towards the summer of 2013, and I ended up going from there, starting to trade full time. But after a while, I was doing so well, but yet I started struggling, and it was a strange thing that had me really wondering, like, what's going on? Like, my strategy is working, I'm doing extremely well, and I'm having a problem with my trading. So I made all this money. I don't recall how much money it was, but it was a lot, and it just got to a point where little by little I started extracting or withdrawing money, and I was making rush trades that was equaling to losing trades. Eventually, I ended up losing almost all the money, and when I looked back, I was wondering, is it because my strategy wasn't working anymore? Is it because, I wasn't, being patient enough? Well, what was the problem? So that's the whole reason why I created it. It's all in the name, internal trader. The reason why I called it internal trader is because I figured out that successful trading, although having a strategy is important, but what's going to make you successful as a trader is internal. It's within you. And I know that might sound cliche. It's like, oh, it's, you have the power within you to make it work, but it's actually true. And I had to learn that the hard way over the years, but it's absolutely true. And we're going to get into the next slide here. I'm going to go again. This is going to be the seven reasons why elite traders crush the competition, and we're going to get started with that right here next. So in the next slide, number one, elite traders are leagues above you in patience. Now, what does this mean? If you look on any educational content when it comes to trading in general, one of the biggest things that, or even, chat rooms, forums, whatever it is, you're going to hear sometimes people say, oh, you got to be patient. But what does that really mean? So it's just a variety of things, right? To be patient, waiting for the next trading setup, assuming you have a trading strategy already that you really understand. Number two, are you patient enough when you get into the trade, right? Are you patient enough to let that trade play out? And number three, are you patient enough to stay out of the market for as long as possible? So what I have learned, and what has helped me, and what I've learned from other traders that are doing very, very well, is that they don't care how long it takes for a trading setup to develop. Whether it takes a couple of days, a couple of weeks, even in some cases a month or two, right? Depending what their strategy is, they'll wait until that ideal setup is so clear to them on their charts. That's when they'll take a trade. So it doesn't matter to them how long a trade takes to develop. Now, this kind of is a struggle for so many people, because the whole point is that you want to make money, and you want to make money now. The more you rush things, the more likely it is that you're going to run into losses. And this is one of the reasons why so many people are so attracted to the lower time frames, whether you're trading the 5 minute, 15 minute, maybe even the hourly. I don't trade on the hourly. I look for swing trades, and I could be in the trade for a few weeks. But the point is that if you need to focus on your patience, whether it's waiting for a trade for however long it's going to take, it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. You have to be willing to wait as long as you can until you see a trading setup that you 100% understand. Again, assuming that you have a trading strategy that you know very well. And then once you're in that trade, you have to be patient enough to let that trade ride, right? This is why so many people, I've had people send me messages on TradingView, and they say, "Wow, man, you stood in the trade for for a few days, or you stood a trade for a week or two." That's normal. The market you have to allow the market to make its move. And again, this comes back to so many things that you can't force the market. You can't, as much as you want to, it's just never going to happen. You have to get into the trade, put your stop losses, and then allow the market to do what it's going to do. Sometimes we get lucky and the market moves directly straight into where we want it to go. And sometimes it just, goes sideways for a little while. It pulls back. There's nothing you can do. Your job is to be as patient as possible. And if there's no opportunity in the market, don't go looking for it, going to so many different, let me look at this Forex pair, or let me go into this market, let me go here, let me go there. You're looking for an opportunity to put your money to work, but all that's going to do is going to confuse you. You're going to end up making a trade that you shouldn't be in to begin with, right? So that's number one. Elite traders are extremely patient, right? There's no rush. They're patient and waiting. If that opportunity comes, and it will come, regardless of how long, they get into the trade, they allow it to develop, they allow the trade to, play out, and then whatever happens, happens, right? So we're going to get into that also into the other sections that I'm going to go through, but that's number one. Number two, elite traders know their own weaknesses. Now, this one is going to vary across so many different things and so many different people, their personalities. It really is a work within. Again, this is why I call it internal trader. I named this business Internal Trader. It's all about you. So let's say trader A, he's really good at money management. Okay, he doesn't over leverage. He doesn't, he uses a really the appropriate stop loss, but he has a problem with, let's say, patience, like we just went through. He can't stay into a trade more than like 2 days. He's really good at money management, but he sucks at patience. Okay, let's say trader C. Trader C, he's really good at both patience. He's good at money management, but he's let's say he's fearful. He's fearful that he misses out a trade, so he has that big FOMO. So you have to, if you've been trading for a while, you have to understand and kind of look within and say, okay, a lot of times when trading goes wrong for me, or if I make a bad trade, why is that happening? Is it because I'm not letting trades run, or is it because I'm like forcing trades, or I'm not, I'm over leveraging? Like, what is it that's causing these problems? You have to really understand within you, like, what's happening. So if, like me, for example, okay, for many years I tried to deny it, but I had a big problem with both money management, and I had a problem with being patient. Once I was able to look within and say, okay, you know what? I just let, 200, 300, 400 pips, I left it on the table because I wasn't willing to let this trade develop. I got scared out, or I was just so eager to take profits off the table just to make myself feel good, but that wasn't part of the trading plan. Okay, that wasn't part of the strategy. So I was able to learn to back off, set a stop loss, let the trade develop. Even if the market pulls back on me a little bit, I can look at it and say, okay, I need to be patient because I need to let this trade develop, and I need to understand that I have a problem with being patient and letting trades run. Once I was able to understand that about myself, okay, then I was able to move forward, and then my trading results started taking off a lot better than it was before. Okay, so you have to really figure out what it is that you have a problem with, because every trader has a, for lack of a better term, a demon that they deal with within themselves. It could be fear. Again, it could be fear of missing out. It could be fear of letting the trade run too long. It could be a fear of holding the trade overnight. It could be a fear of, missing out on profits in terms of, and having to, risk too much, not having a stop loss because they don't want to take a loss. All those things you need to figure out within, and then find out what it is, and then work on those things, which also ties into your mindset, right? So let's look at number 3. That's number 2. So elite traders focus on one market, one pair, or one sector. This is debatable. Some people might feel that, that's not true, or some people might feel that is true. From traders that I've spoken to over the years, and they may not have told me directly, but I was watching and observing what they were doing, and then I have found myself doing the same thing. Once I started getting much better results, and I was profiting, and things were going well, I've noticed that about myself. For me, I focus strictly on the Euro USD. I don't even look at anything else anymore. And if you're going to trade, for example, stocks, what are you going to focus on? Are you focusing on, small cap? Are you focusing on large cap? Are you focusing on ETFs? Are you focused on the financial sector? Are you focused on the tech sector? If you're trading, commodities, what exactly are you focused on? Okay. If you're trading crypto, what exactly are you focused? Focus on that one thing. So if you focus also, in my case, like I just said, if I'm trading Forex, I'm focused on the Euro USD. I'm not looking at any other pair. Why? Because I want to get familiar with how this pair moves, how it reacts to certain market conditions, how it reacts to, when the Federal Reserve is coming out with market data, or Fed chairman is talking about inflation, talking about economic projections. I know from experience how this pair reacts to chart patterns, how it reacts to divergences, how it reacts to certain news, for news data. I know how I understand, because I've been focusing it for so long. So if you're a trader that you've been, trying to go back and forth, trade so many different things, it's likely you're either going to confuse yourself, or you're going to spread yourself too thin. In my opinion, zero in on one market, one pair, one sector, whatever it is. Get to know that sector, whatever your strategy is, and apply it and work there. Once you start making a good amount of money there, then you can maybe start branching out. But there's more than enough money to be made in one market, one pair, one sector. There is. The whole thing, the reason why everybody scatters around is that, okay, I want to be diverse. I want to be diverse and be able to trade all these different things. That's fine. But if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, trading and going to so many different things and looking for correlations, you're only going to confuse yourself. You're going to end up taking all these different trades, and you're going to end up taking loss after loss. All right. So that's one thing. And this is the reason why a lot of my videos are focused on Euro USD analysis, because that's what I know best. And that allows me to focus in on that price action and take advantage of the price action of the Euro USD when I see it, if there's no trades to be, I'm not going to go somewhere else looking for other trades. The Euro USD is going to tell me when I should get into the trade. If it's together with my strategy, then I'm going to look to get into the market, and then let that trade ride. Right. So that's number 3. Now the next one, number 4, elite traders prefer a longer term outlook. Now this goes back to looking at the lower time frames. Again, this is not a knock on people looking to day trade. However, there's a reason why people look at the lower time frames and then extend out. Well, let me look at the daily chart. Let me look at the weekly chart. Let me look at the the monthly chart. If I have found that a lot of the trades I can project, it gives you a time to prepare to, let's say this market looks like it's, I'm just saying it just in general, but let's say, okay, XYZ market looks like it's going to go on a big run here. This could be a big run for about a week, or multi-week run, or a multi-month run. Okay, if you look at the longer term time frames, like the weekly or the monthly or even the daily, right? That's as low as I go. It can give you a better idea to prepare for the bigger moves, if that makes sense. So you're shooting for 200 pips, 500 pips, 700 pips, 1,000 pips. Those trades can be had if you're looking at the longer term perspective. If you're trading down in the 5 minute, okay, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna get in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. That could be very overwhelming for a lot of traders. Okay, some people might not agree with that, but I'm telling you, from trading for so many years, and almost 15 years now, trading and letting, well, especially if you also don't want to be glued to the charts. If you're looking for nice swing trades, it's going to yield you about 250 pips, 500 pips. Okay, you want to be able to get into the trade and let it run, and then you just check it on your phone or on your desktop or your laptop, whatever, from time to time, and just manage the trade. So, in my opinion, elite traders are going to focus on the longer term outlook. Okay, they're looking to see what's going to happen. What's the potential of a big run? A multi-week, a multi-month run. And I have found that to be a lot less stressful than looking to get in and out of the market. On a consistent basis. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, elite traders view trading from a business perspective. Now, I know some of you may have heard already, treat trading as a business, right? Treat it as a business. Well, what does that mean exactly? So it's basically, it is what it is, right? It's looking at things from a business perspective in terms of like your P&L, or certain profits on a quarterly basis, right? Most companies, they have quarterly earnings and things like that. So if you look at things like, okay, how much am I making, per day? How much making per week? How much I'm making per month? I would suggest look at things from a longer term perspective and look at your quarterly results. Okay, this kind of takes off the pressure of having to meet some kind of like quota per day or per month or per week, I should say. And if you look at it that way, you say, okay, let me see how my trading has done this quarter, this first quarter. Okay, this was okay. You can look back and say, what can be improved? Was it the market conditions weren't that good, or did I rush some trades, or XYZ, whatever it is? Look back and see what happened. Okay, and then prepare for the second quarter, right? And then again, third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, you'll see at the end of the year how you progressed as a trader over the course of that whole year. Okay, this is something that I feel that kind of really help a lot of traders, take that pressure off of having to make XYZ per day, per week, per month, right? Stretch it out a little bit. See what happens if you stretch it out and keep track on a quarterly basis. Another thing is that whole per thing, which I need to make $500 per day. I need to make $5,000 per month, or I need to make $10,000 per month, whatever it is. Since it's the market is going to give you what it's going to give you. And what I mean by that is that if you expect, to make X amount per day, per week, or per month, sometimes that's not going to happen. You have to be prepared for when the market gives you that opportunity. So let's say you don't trade for about a week or two. All right, you're not hitting your quotas. So you're like, oh shit, I have to make a trade because I need to make XYZ per day, per week, or per month. But sometimes the market's flat. Sometimes the market it's not doing anything. Sometimes it's it's ranging. You don't know exactly. it's not giving you a clear picture. So the last thing you want to do is to force a trade, and then if the trade doesn't work out, you end up with a loss that you shouldn't have been, that you should have not been involved in to begin with, right? So let's say you don't trade for about a week or two, right? And then the following month, a trading opportunity that yields you 200, 300, 400, or 500 pips comes around. Now you made up everything that all that time that you didn't trade. You still ended up with a nice trade in general anyway, right? Just by being patient. So try to stretch it out a little bit and view things from a longer term perspective, like a company, okay, from a quarterly basis, and see how your trading does at the end of the year. All right, number 6, elite traders protect their capital at all times. This is common sense, but it's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of traders lose a lot of money. And it's funny because you can kind of look at analogies for trading, which I think it's one of the best things to use, because I use sports as an analogy. So let's take boxing, for example. It doesn't matter how good you train, how much knowledge you have about boxing, how good of a trainer you had, or the best gloves, or the best footwork. If you don't protect yourself, you're going to get knocked out. There's no doubt about it. Again, it doesn't matter how strong you are, how quick you are, whatever the case is, you're fully equipped. You're top of the line. You're a pro. But if you don't protect yourself, you're gonna get knocked out. That's just the obvious, right? And it's the same thing with trading. Even veteran traders, it doesn't matter if they've been trading for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. If at any point they get extremely reckless with their capital, guess what's going to happen? They're going to put on a trade one day, the market's going to go the complete opposite, and they're going to take a huge hit on their capital, right, in their account. Many traders blow their accounts, losing 50%, 75%, 100%, and then they have to refund. I've been through that a countless amount of times when I first started trading. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I blew an account, and how many people blow their accounts because they don't protect their account. Now, this goes back to wanting to make as much money as possible in the fastest way possible. Okay, this is why people open up an account that allows all this leverage. And sure, you could turn $1,000 account into a $10,000 account within a few days. I've done it, actually. But is that sustainable? No. It's fun once in a while. If you have the capital, you open up an account and say, okay, let me see how much I can turn this, $500, $1,000 to whatever it is into, 5 figures. Let's see if I can do it, right? And it's more than possible. The problem is that it's not sustainable. So if you're looking to make money and to actually grow your money step by step, eventually, if you keep trading that way, you're going to get hit and you're going to lose all your money, or at least half of it. Okay, so that's the name of the game. Protect your capital at all times. Protect yourself when you're in the trade. Even if the trading setup looks perfect, absolutely perfect, things can go wrong. It happens to any type of trader. Nobody's 100%. Eventually, one day, there's a trade that looks really good, and it's not going to go the way you want. You're going to end up losing, a lot of money on that trade when you should have been practicing risk management. And again, to protect your capital, to make sure you don't have a really bad loss. So that's number 6. And finally, number 7, elite traders avoid distractions and noise. This one is tricky because this is going to kind of slightly go against getting involved in a trading community. But I also support trading communities, because when I started trading, I was going to forums, just like you're probably doing. I was watching videos. Now, it's a little less because today you have social media and you have all these different platforms. But when I started back in 2008, 2009, maybe even 2010, I felt like I needed to, be a part of a group. are part of a trading community, and it helps, right, to share, different perspectives, and to share different, ideas, and share your charts, and that's all great. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have a trading group myself focused on swing trading, and where we can look for the similar things, right, and to kind of put our minds together to see if we can make a large sums of money. But this can also be a detriment, and I'll share some examples right now of actual examples of my experience in my past. Back in 2010, uh, I was starting to get better at chart patterns and figuring out certain support and resistance, not in the traditional way, but certain things that I was looking at. And the euro was against the dollar was falling. I don't remember exactly what the price was, but I was part of this community, and I took a screenshot and I posted it, and I shared my idea. And somebody came on and was like, there is no way that the euro will fall that low to where you're projecting. Now, I'm fairly new. I wasn't an exact newbie. I had about a year and a half, almost 2 years under my belt, so I wasn't a super newbie. But when I read that, I was starting to doubt my analysis and saying to myself, you know what, this guy might be right, you know. So once the market started making just a slight little pullback, I got out because I was like, you know what, he might be right, and let me get out of this trade. Guess what happened? The euro dropped another 600 pips, and I missed out on that because I was listening to this guy. He was so convinced that the euro would not fall that low that, of course I was just like, man, maybe this guy knows more than me. So I missed out on all those, 600 pips, and he was wrong, which he most likely had a lot more experience than me. But the fact is that was noise, and I'll tell you, I was pissed off because I listened to it, but it is what it is, right? Everybody has their own opinions on the market and what's going to happen and all this stuff, right? Example number two. I was trading with a family friend. I think this was in 2011, and he had an account, and we were both trading it and trying to make more money from it. And saw a video on YouTube where this guy, I think he was more in the realm of Elliott Wave, but he was talking about how the euro was going to drop. Literally, this is what he said, because I still remember this in my head. He was like, the euro is going to drop like a bomb. I mean, this is going to be a huge, huge, massive fall. So again, I started thinking to myself, man, maybe he's right, even though I'm long right now. But you know what? His projections and the pullbacks and the lines he was drawing on the screen, and I was like, oh shit, man, this guy looks like, you know what? He might be right. I'm gonna get out of this trade. Guess what happened? The market went up about 800. I think it was about 800 or 900 pips that was missed out on. So, again, it just comes back to, he it looked good, but the point was he was completely wrong, and the original analysis I had was right. So that was my second lesson. The final lesson was recent. I would say about 2020. I was invited, and I joined a group on Facebook that somebody invited me on. And by this point, I was already established in terms of my trading strategy. I knew exactly what I was looking at, what to trade, how I was going to trade, and my strategy was completely mapped out. So he invited me in. I shared my idea on the euro, and I posted, which I think was a falling wedge, a large one on the weekly. I said this setup looks really promising, and I'm going to position myself for a big move to the upside. I think this was right around the middle of COVID. So somebody came in, and I think he worked for a very large financial bank. I'm not gonna say which one, but I can guarantee you 1,000% you know this bank. So anyway, he came in and he said chart patterns are bullshit. That nobody makes money off of patterns, and it's not gonna be, this is BS. You know, your analysis on the chart doesn't mean anything. You know, it's all about XYZ, and all of a sudden he started going into all these banking terms. Now this time, again, since I was already established in understanding my patterns and understanding my strategy and everything, I stayed in the trade. Ended up making about 1,100 pips, or I think it was a little less than that. But the point is, I stuck with my analysis, and I ended up making a really, really nice profit off of that. So again, you want to be careful when you're trading with certain groups, okay? And if somebody discredits you and says this sucks or you suck, this analysis is not good, whatever the case is, you have to be confident in your own ability to be, to stick with your plan and your strategy. Even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. Your perspective in the market might be wrong compared to somebody else. Somebody else's perspective might be right, okay? But that person eventually will be wrong. So you have to just be confident in your own strategy and stick with your plan to know what works, and then, go from there, okay? So again, you got to be careful, but that's number 7. And then now in conclusion, there's nothing here really, but again, this is me, Sal. You can contact me at internaltrader.com. I'm more than willing to help a lot of you that are struggling right now. Trust me when I tell you, I've been where you've been. I know exactly all the hurdles that you're probably going through figuring it out. I'm helping a friend right now with his trading. And one of the biggest battles that you're going to go through is not just your developing a strategy that works, but you have to. It's different steps, right? You have to have a strategy. You have to know what time frames. All right, are you going to be a day trader? Then be a day trader. If you're going to be a swing trader, you have to stick to being a swing trader. If you're going to trade a certain market, stick to that market. Stick to that one thing so that you can zero in and be able to hone that, get familiar with it. And really improve your trading. So if you guys, I'll have a link in the description, but if you guys want a written form, again, PDF, I have a copy here. You see, you guys can read through this whole thing. It's, again, like I said in the beginning, it's not word for word, but this is something I put together, and you guys can read through it. You can download it. In the description, I'll have a link, or you can actually go to the website at internaltrader.com, and you can download it here. There'll be a link up on top to show the guide, right? And if you really want to, if you're really struggling and you need some strong guidance, you can actually head to internaltrader.com and coaching. You can head to the coaching up here and you can actually book a call with me, and we can see if this is right for you. If it's right for you, we can continue. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and, I wish you nothing but the best in trading. Okay, but if you are, you can head to internaltrader.com and book a call with me, a 15-minute free consultation. Okay, so again, you can read through this here and reach out to me, or if you want, you can just go to the comments and, if you have a question, I'll be more than happy to help you with any of those. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you really need to read this, watch this video again, and if you have further questions about trading, about your mentality when it comes to trading, a lot of your struggles, strategy, I could definitely help answer your questions. And again, if you need help, you can reach out to me. The next video I probably will be doing is the next analysis on the Euro USD. I'm actually right now, it's looking like up at almost 200 pips, which is going really well. So if you would like to look at that analysis, you can go over and check that out. All right. So good luck, everyone. I hope this really helps you with your trading. I hope it gives you some good ideas and something to think about. But hit that like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.